Hi guys, welcome back. So today I've got another tutorial for you. We're going to be creating this kind of animated image navigation. I've seen this on a fair few websites now, so you can see when we hover each link, we get that kind of an image appear, fades in, and we get this kind of like increased size animation as well. We get a slight rotation as well on our image when we go move across. It's nice and smooth, so it looks pretty. There's no kind of animation like libraries or frameworks, all done within the JavaScript. So yeah, let's get going, guys. Thanks. Okay, guys, so as always, to get started here, I've got the usual index.html, style.css, and app.js files. I've also got an image directory here where I've just sourced 5 images from unsplash.com. I think I just typed in kind of like home design and found these images from Unsplash. Okay, so it's a great website, loads of free images to use on there. So if we come to our index.html file, as always, I'll get a boilerplate up and running. In the title, I should change that to navigation. And then I'm going to link to the style.css in the header. And then in the bottom of the body, I'll just say script source app.js. Okay. And for the purpose of the tutorial, guys, I'm just going to copy and paste some code over here, okay, just to save time. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get a nav element, and I'm going to say give this a class of menu. Okay, this is going to be our navigation menu. And then in here, we're going to have 5 separate anchor sections. Okay, so you can see I've got an anchor tag here. Give this a class of menu item. Okay, and within this anchor section, we have a span which contains the link name. So here I've just put home, and then we've also got another div within this anchor element with a class of hover reveal. And then within this hover reveal div, we have another div with a class of hover reveal inner. Okay, and then this is housing another div with a class of hover reveal underscore image. Okay, and then we've also had another class called one because we're going to apply separate classes to each of these image divs. Okay, so that's for one link. So I'm going to copy this section down 5 times here. Okay, so shift option down, 2, 3, 4. So we copy it down 4 times. We have 5 links. Okay. I'm just going to adjust this. I'll say home, I'll say about, and I'm just going to change this class here, this 1 to 2. And then this third link, we'll say projects. Again, change that 1 to a 3 for this case. And then I'll say for the 4th link, design. Again, change that to 4. And then here, we'll just say contact for the final link. Okay, contact. And here we'll just say 5. And that's it for our HTML. Okay, so that's our nav section done. What I also want to do is I'm just going to apply this Poppins font. So it's on Google Fonts. So we just say copy that link tag here, put that in the header. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to come to our CSS next. And here I'm just going to get our global settings. So we'll do the star. And then we'll say margin 0, padding 0, box sizing of border box, and then I'm just going to copy that Poppins font selector as well and put that in our global CSS settings. So if you open this in Live Server, just to see what we've got so far, you can see we have a basic HTML page. We have that 5 links with that Poppins font applied. Okay, so now coming back into our CSS, what I want to do here, I'm just going to select the HTML and body after this. We'll say HTML body. I'm going to give this a background color of 161616 like so to get that nice dark grey background. And then underneath this, we're going to say dot menu to select our navigation section. I'm going to position that absolute. And then we're going to say left, I want it 10%. You can see now I've moved 10% across. And then a top of 20%. Okay, and then I want to give this a height of 60%. Okay, and then what else we're going to do here is we're going to say a width of 80%. Okay, and then underneath that, we're just going to say display. I want to use Flexbox here to display this. And then if I save that now, you can see all the links have gone side by side. So I'm just going to apply the flex direction. I'm going to set that to column. And now they're all underneath each other again. And we're using Flexbox here because I want to space these links out evenly. Okay. So now coming underneath this, next thing we want to do is select our menu item. Okay, so that's each of our link items. So say menu hyphen item like so. and then I'm going to position this relative, okay, and then I'm going to say here flex, I'm going to say 1. And what that will do, that will just make all the link elements space out evenly along the flex container, okay? So it grows it by 1, and then you can see they're all equal distance apart now. Okay, so now underneath this, I'm just going to say border bottom, and I'm going to say 1 pixel solid white. And what I want to do here, that white's a bit harsh for me, so I'm going to just hover this and just bring the opacity right down here, so it should be a very faint line. Okay, now underneath this, next one I want to select is the span within our anchor elements. Okay, so these sections here. So if we come here, I'm just going to say dot menu, and then we'll say span, and here again I'm going to set the position to relative, and then we're going to display inline block. And the reason we're doing this is because you can't apply transformations to span elements by default. You can only do that if you set the display to inline block, because that's why we're applying this setting here. And then I'm going to say top 50%. Okay, so our text has moved down 50%. Now I just want to center that perfectly, so we'll just do a transform on that. So we'll say transform, say translate on the y-axis minus 50%. And now you can see our text is nice and central. Again, color, I'm going to make that white. Like so. And then underneath this, we're also going to say text decoration of none. And that removes the underlining from the links. And then also, I'm just going to apply a mixed blend mode here of difference. And the reason we're applying that is so we can see the text above any image which we fade into this nav element. Okay, so it blends in with the background so you can see it. And then I'm just going to set the font size to 30 pixels just to make it a bit bigger, like so. And then finally with this, I'm just going to apply some padding to the left. I'm just going to say 1 rem. Okay, just to move it on onto the right slightly. Okay, that's it for our menu span elements. So next one we want to do here is I just want to set the background here. Okay, so you can see here I've set to the first div element. I've just applied a background image with a URL pointing towards my images folder and the first image. Okay, so this image here. Okay, and I'm going to just do this for the other 4 divs. Okay, so if I just copy this over, just to save time, you can see I've just set the relevant images for each of our individual divs here. Okay, now come underneath this, next thing I want to do is I'm going to select the hover reveal div. Okay, so we'll say dot hover, and then we'll say hyphen reveal, and again I'm going to position that absolute, and then underneath this we'll say top of 0, left of 0, and then we'll say width of 300 pixels, and then a height of 300 pixels, and actually we went at 400 pixels, sorry. And then we're going to say opacity of 0, okay, because we want it needs to be see-through, and then we want to fade them in when we hover each individual link. Okay, and then underneath this, we're going to say pointer events none, because we don't want to apply any kind of pointer actions to this. And again, I'm going to say transform, translate, and here I'm just going to say 0, and then minus 300 pixels to start with. And then I'm going to do a transition of 0.2 seconds, ease out. Okay, so this is just our animation settings we're going to be applying when we fade these divs in and out as we hover our links. Okay, so kind of underneath the hover reveal, next I'm going to select the inner section. So we'll say dot hover reveal _ inner, like so. I want to give these a width of 100% just to fill out the parent div, which is this hover reveal section here, which we set to 300 pixels. And then I want to set the height to 100% as well. And then I want to say here position relative. And then also I'm just going to say will change, and we're going to say transform, okay? Because we're going to be applying transformations to this div. And what this will change does is it just lets the browser know that we're going to be applying transform changes to this div, and therefore it optimizes the browser to perform these changes. Okay, and I'm just going to say overflow of hidden because I don't want the image to expand beyond this inner div here. Okay, and then I think that's pretty much it for our inner div. So lastly, let's just do the dot hover reveal, and next we're going to select the actual image. Okay, and here I'm just going to say background size. I'm going to say cover, not contain cover. And then we'll say background position, say 50% to center the image. And then I'm going to do a transform origin. And here I'm just going to set that to 50% and 100%, like so. Move that comma there. And then we do a width, again of 100%, a height of 100%. Okay, and then again, we're going to do a position relative here. Okay, to position that relative to the inner div, because that's the parent for this image div. And then we're also going to say, set that will change transform again. And then also, I'm going to transform the actual size of the image first. We want it to start off smaller, so I'm going to say 0.8, so 80% of the actual size. Okay, we're going to change this to full scale 1:1 when we hover our links. And again, I'm just going to set the transition or animation settings to 1.5 seconds, and again ease out like so. Actually, let's just I'll just write transform there for now because that's all we're going to be doing. Okay, so that's pretty much it for our CSS now, guys. So let's move on to the JavaScript. So if you come to our app.js, the first thing I'm going to do is query selectors, okay? So I want to select all of our links first, okay? Because we're going to be applying event listeners to them separately. So I say let links equal document dot query selector all. And here we're just going to say dot menu hyphen item. Okay, so now if I console.log the links, go to our dev tools, you can see now we have this node list with our 5 links. When I hover those, you can see they're highlighted on the screen. Okay, so now underneath this, I also want to select our link images, okay, because we're going to be applying transformations to them when we hover each individual link. So I'll say let link images equal document dot query selector all. And here I'm just going to say dot hover reveal double underscore image, like so. Okay, now underneath this, next thing I'm going to do is do a for each on each of our links. Okay, so I'm going to say links dot for each, and here I'm going to pass in the actual link element as well as the index. Okay, and then after this we'll do an arrow function. And what we want to do in here is I'm just going to add an event listener to each individual link. So I'll say link.add event listener. Okay, and we're going to listen out for a mouse move, like so. And when we move the mouse over each of our links, remember to pass in the event in the callback. And here, the first one I want to do is get the change the opacity. Remember we set the opacity to 0 for our where is it? Opacity 0 here to our hover reveal div. We want to change this to 1. Okay, so to get this hover reveal, what I'm going to do is if I just say links, we'll get our first link element for now, link 0, and here we'll just say dot children, and then I'll say 1. You can see that brings up the hover reveal div. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using, this children selector. Okay, so I'll say here link dot children, and here we'll just say 1, and then we're going to say dot style dot opacity, and I'm going to change that to 1. Okay, now the next thing I want to do here is adjust the span as well, so the text. So if I change this to 0 in our console, you can see we get the actual text, the span element. So I'll say that here, link dot children, we'll set 0 to get the span element, say dot style, and then we'll say z index this time, and we're going to set that equal to 3. Okay, and what that does, that just brings the text in front of the images, so we'll be able to read it when the image is faded into the screen. Okay, so you'll see what I mean shortly. And then next we want to do, we also want to apply another change to this hover reveal div. So again, I'm just going to select this, copy this over, and here this time I want to change the actual transform. Okay, and here I'm going to say equal. We're going to set some backticks here. I'm going to say translate like so, and then here I'm going to say e.client x. Okay, first minus 300 pixels. Okay, and e.client x just follows the mouse on the x-axis. Okay, so you'll start off at 0 pixels and then increase as we move along the x-axis or horizontally along the screen. Okay, so that just the e.client x is just basically where our mouse is on the screen. I'm just subtracting 300 pixels just to move it slightly over to the left again. Okay, and then after that we do a comma, and I'll just say minus next, do another template literal, and here we'll just say e.client y for the y-axis. I want to divide this by 3 just so it's not so so just to move, so it's not so powerful really. It doesn't move like really far on the y-axis. And then here we'll just say pixels again. So that's it for our translate. I also just want to apply a slight rotation as well. So I say here rotate, and here we'll do another template literal. Again, we'll say e.client client x, and I'm just going to divide that by 20 for now. See how that looks. We'll do it degrees like so. So now, okay, so that's pretty much it there. Now what we need to do, I think that's looking okay. Okay, so we're getting our images appear. There's no kind of transformation going on yet, so we'll sort that out shortly. Next thing we want to do here is I'm just going to say, we'll come underneath this. Just make sure we're not getting any errors in our console. It's all looking good. We'll come underneath this. I'm just going to say link images, and here we're going to use that index which we passed in up here. Okay, so with the for each function you get the index passed in. So here I'll just say .style .transform, and here I'll just say equals, and we'll just say scale, and then remember we'll just increase the image size to the full size. Okay, so do 1,1. Okay, so now you can see when we hover, the images come in and they get bigger, so they go to full size. Okay, so I just want to see why we're not getting we should be getting, it should move along with our mouse now. So what's going on here? So doing a transform, translate e.client x minus 300 pixels, and then we're doing minus e.client y divided by 3 pixels. Okay, okay, that's working now. Cool, so you can see now our images move along with our mouse. That's great. Okay, so now obviously this isn't very user friendly at the moment. We need to fade these images back out when we leave our divs. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to come back to our JavaScript, and then underneath this section here, I'm going to next say link.add event listener, and here we're going to listen up for the mouse leave event. Okay, and then what this does, again, we'll pass in the event, do an arrow function, and again I'm going to say link.children, and again we'll set that the second child element, and then we'll say .style .opacity. We can set that to equal 0 when we leave. Okay, so now you'll see when we leave it disappears like so. Okay, and now what I want to do here is just obviously we can see all the text above the images at the moment, but I only want to see the text for the image that we're actually, for the link we're hovering. Okay, so I want all the other text to fade into the back of the image. So to do that, I'm just going to say link.children, we'll say 1 again, and we'll say dot style dot transform, and I'm just going to set the scale again. Okay, actually no, we'll do translate for now. So we'll do transform equals, again we'll say translate in backticks, and here do a template literal. I'll just say minus e dot client, say x, and after that we'll say pixels. That should be backticks, not a z. And then we also just want to say minus 300 pixels, okay, on the y-axis, like so. And then do a backtick there. And then underneath this, I'm just going to next select our link images. Again, set the index, set the image at this index, and then we'll just say dot style dot transform. And here, remember, we want to bring the scale back down, okay, to where it was. So scale 0, 0.8, 0.8. Okay, so we make it smaller when we leave the link. So now you'll see. Sorry, guys. Okay, so now we always get the link that the image goes bigger when we hover. Okay, we get a nice fade in scale transformation there. And then finally, what I want to do here is just say link.style.zindex equals 0. And now sorry guys, what I also forgot here, it's kind of underneath here, I just want to say link.style.zindex equals 2. Okay, so now you can see our text, we only get the text appear for the link we're hovering. Okay. And I think that rotate is probably a bit harsh if we're on a full screen. Yeah, you can see it rotates quite a lot. So I'm just going to adjust my JavaScript there, and I'm going to divide this by, let's just go for say 50 instead. That should make it less harsh. Okay. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's how you create these kind of navs. You can see we get the nice kind of mixed blend mode text there. And yeah, that's how you create these kind of image navigation animations. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Yeah, give me any questions, give me a shout in the comments, and I'll try my best to get back to you. But yeah, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thanks, guys.